Okay, it's the 28th of March. It's a Friday. We've got about 30 minutes to the NY Open, and we're going to get to the charts in a second. Yeah, sound is all good. Yeah. Okay, let's start with the calendar. So, 8:30 a.m. EST, we've got news today. It's not an important news event. This is not going to do, it's not going to reverse price or anything. It'll probably just add a little volume to the uh, current direction of price at the time of news, right? So whatever that current direction is, it'll just add a little volume to that. That's all, right? It's not going to do anything more than that. So we now have to figure out what could be the direction for the first couple of hours of the NY Open, okay? And then is that going to be the direction of the day, or is that going to change later on uh, in the second half of the NY session, right? These are things that we've got to, um, look at the charts, look at the time frames, and kind of make a calculated guess on. All right. So it's the last day of the week, right? And what we're going to attempt to do now, we're going to attempt to predict the daily candle, right? That's what we're going to do. I do this at the end of every week because it's the last day of the week. It's the weekly it's going to be the weekly candle close. Also, if it's the last day of the month, and it happens to always also be the last day of the week, then I do that too. But it's not going to be the case this month because we have 2 more days left of the month next week. But I would consider this as the last week of the month because next week is NFP week. Okay, so let's go up a time frame and look at the weekly candle. Now we have plenty of time for analysis because until 8:30 a.m. EST, I'm not going to be putting on any trades because 8 a.m. EST is NY Open, and 30 minutes after that there is some sort of news, a very small news event. It makes sense to just wait for that. Okay. All right. So the weekly candle is very bullish. Let's let's look at this very closely. So it's done about 850 pips already. That's a fair bit of volume this week, right? We are very bullish. We are possibly heading towards 3,100. Just a second. Excuse my voice. I'm still fighting this flu. Um, Okay, so the weekly candle is bullish, and it's very, very likely that the weekly candle is going to close bullish, right? Unlikely that price is going to pull back 850 pips, and this is going to close bearish today, right? Very unlikely that happening. Can happen. There is a one in a probably 100 chances that can happen, but very unlikely, right? We're going to close bullish. So the question is it going to close bullish with a small top wick to be filled next week or a bigger wick to be filled next week? That's the question. Very similar to what happened the previous week, right? That's exactly what uh, kind of a scenario that we had with the weekly candle the previous week. So it's very similar. Now, this week, unlike last week, we have a bottom wick, right? This week, the previous week didn't have a bottom wick. So price pushed down. Now, this week, there is a bottom wick. So it's very likely price is going to close above 3050. We're going to close above it, right? Leaving not too much of a wick to be filled. So which means price is going to we're going to have a smaller top wick. This is what could happen. This is one of the scenarios that we could have. Let's take the first scenario that we have a smaller top wick, right? Which means if you go down to the daily candle has to close bullish, right? It may pull back for a bit, but it needs to close bullish for us to have a smaller top wick, right? If we are going to have a bigger top wick, that is the second scenario, the daily candle needs to push back down. It can still close bullish, but it needs to close a weak bullish candle, right? A weak bullish candle. Instead of a strong bullish candle, it needs to close a weak bullish. That's the second scenario. So for that to happen, then the NY session needs to be a down move, right? Price has to push down for the daily candle to close a weak bullish candle or even a bearish candle, but above 3050 to leave that big weekly wick to be filled next week, right? That is the second scenario. The first scenario is that we close the daily candle close strong bullish, leaving a small wick to be filled, right? Those are the two scenarios. Let's go back to the first scenario. If it's the first scenario, if we're going to leave a small top wick for the weekly candle to be, if the weekly candle is going to close with a small top wick, then the daily candle is obviously going to, it needs to close bullish, strong bullish, but price has already moved up in the daily. We've already crossed 320 pips, 325 pips. So what could possibly happen then, right? In the first scenario, for the first scenario to play out, price can pull back first and then continue up later on. That's the first scenario, right? If it's a second scenario, then price needs to start to reject here and start moving down, right? So it can move up a bit, then we start seeing some sort of rejection and start moving down, and at the end of the NY session we close down here, so the weekly candle will have a bigger wick. Those are the two scenarios, right? So we're going to now go to the lower time frames and see what signs we may have, we already have, and what we will have in the next hour, to see which of those two scenarios will start to play out, right? So keep in mind what I've just said in the first 8 minutes of this stream, and let's go to our trading chart. Now, before we proceed to draw the zones, I always do a quick recap of either the trade I took, if I took a trade, and any setups that I gave, right? So if you were here yesterday during the streams, then we took sells here. We had a bearish candle close. We had 30-minute resistance form, a tradable bearish candle close. We took sells here. I took sells here at 3052.5, I think, somewhere just up there. And price dropped all the way up here, about 150 pips. And it came into that liquidity candle. Perfect tap of the liquidity candle and the EMA. And then I said the only trade idea that I gave out yesterday were buys. But the buys did play out, but unfortunately, there was no possible entry, right? Because I've said wait for 30 minutes support. So now at the beginning, I said when you have, if you remember, if you go back and watch the first 20 minutes or 25 minutes of the stream, you remember what I said in a very strong uptrend like this, when price is far away from the EMAs, 15 minutes support should do, right? You don't have to wait for 30 minutes support, but that's very rare. This doesn't happen very often, right? Most of the time, 80% of the time, 85% of the time, you need to wait for 30 minutes support or resistance to be created to take a trade, to take a buy or a sell, right? But in this case, I said you can wait for 15-minute support to be created. Now, on the 15-minute we created support. If you took the trade, great. But at the end, I said wait for 30-minute support to be created. 30-minute support was created, but the candle pushed up over 100 pips. So, and it didn't pull back. So if it's fine to close here, but this candle should have pulled back down here to be able to take an entry, and it didn't. It just continued. It went up a bit, came down, and we just pushed up, right? That was the move that we were expecting. It moved up about 360, 370 pips, right? The move that we were expecting, but there was no pullback, or there was no retracement around this candle or this area to take a trade to move up, okay? So let's get rid of all of these. Okay, we're at all-time highs, yeah. Back again at all-time highs, so there's going to be probably no supply. Maybe on a smaller time frame you might find some supply, but we're at all-time highs. And what that means is there's no price action to the left, right? There's no zero price action to the left. So we have no idea. Uh, we can't find a liquidity candle. There's nothing here. So we don't know what the reason price is going to change. All that we see that the only thing that we see on the price chart right now is price is heading. This is the only key level that we see, right? This is the only liquidity area that we see. The price is heading towards 3,100. Okay, let's start with our zones. There's a rally, a base, and a rally here. We're going to take a look at this area on the 1 hour time frame because it's crossed this 3050 BRN, or a psychological round number. There's a rally, a single basin candle, and a rally here. And we're going to take a look at this area also on the low time frame because, as I said, price is pushing up. There's a strong push up. So on the high time frames, you're not getting structure. So we have to go down to a lower time frame, probably the 1 hour, to look for some sort of structure. Okay, let's put the numbers on this for now. 642, 281. Okay, right, let's go to the 1 hour, right? Now, that's a clear zone. Let's get rid of this liquidity candle for now and bring this down here so we don't overlap. This low is 357. It's good enough. That's 1 hour, right? This is 4 hour demand, and this too is 4 hour demand. Okay, now here, there is some sort of a base here, right? There is a rally. These are all basin candles, and there is a rally. Now, I always say when it's like this, if you're confused, always work backwards. Where is the move out? The move out starts here, right? If you look at all these candles, right, and you look at the move up, it starts here. This is the leg out. So all of that's a base, right? All of this is a base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include all of that into the base, right? Let's look at the 30-minute time frame. Yeah, that makes sense now, right? You have a leg in, right? This is the leg in, and all of that is the base. So you can even go up to there. Yeah, okay. That's all a base, and that's the leg out. Leg in, base, leg out, right? Let's put the numbers there. This is 789. Yeah. So it's a 4 hour zone because it's visible on the 4 hour, but it's clearer on the 1 hour. That's why I've adjusted it to the 1 hour because we're crossing this BRN, right? And now the zone goes through the BRN as well. On the 4 hour it didn't. You can see on the 4 hour it didn't, but on the 1 hour it very clearly goes through it. Let's take a look at this area as well. Down. Okay, so I'm going to include this base, right? Because I don't like not have, this is a drop and there is a rally, but there is no base here. Okay, there is no base, and I want to always look for that base. So I'm going to bring it up here to this 242. Okay, perfect. That's demand. Right now, let's look at this area as well. 30-minute time frame. We have it's 205 pips. Quite far away. Price is reacting to something here. It's reacting to the EMAs. It's pushing up from the EMAs. Yeah, there is no base. There is no zone here, right? There's a rally, a base, and a rally on the 1 hour. On the 4 hour, there is nothing, but on the 1 hour, there is a rally, base, rally. Second, sound okay? Yeah. We have a rally, base, rally, base, rally. So there is a move up, but price has come through that and is reacting to the EMA here. And along the EMA to the left, there is no zone. If you look at the 15-minute, there is that, but it's not to that. It's to the EMA. So there is no zone here. Okay. Let's look at let's look at supply now. Now we have a rally here and we have a sudden drop, right? 100 and over 100 pip drop. Okay, so let's go down to the 1 hour. We have a rally and we have a drop. So we do have some sort of lower time frame supply there. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame. There you go. Okay, that's better. Now we have a rally, and that's a drop. And if you go to the 30-minute, you can see the base-in candle. That's a rally and a drop. I'm going to include this as well. Yeah, rally, two base-in candles and a drop. 597194. Okay. Yeah, it's a 1 hour supply, right? It's visible on the 1 hour, very clear on the 1 hour. There's rally and there's a drop. So it's 1 hour supply. Okay. So those are the zones for the session. That's about 450 pips to downside. We're covered to the downside and we're good here. Okay, so let's just save this. And give me a second. Just a second. Just 1 second. Okay. All right, next step. We have new supply and we have some new demand zones. We're going to take a look at these and see if they are high liquidity zones, right? Okay, let's go down to the 1 hour time frame. Let's start with supply because that's where price is currently very close to supply. Yes, so we have a supply here. We've taken out demand to the left. You have a rally, base rally, and then another base and a rally, and prices come down, taken out this demand to the left. So that is a high liquidity zone. Okay. We've got a 1 hour demand zone here, a 4 hour demand zone here. Has it taken out anything to the left? This one took out that, but this one took out. Yeah, you can say that this one took out. So there was a rally and a drop here. If you go to the 30-minute time frame, there is supply here, right? A rally and some sort of a smaller time frame base and then a drop here. And this move up, this candle here, took out this high. So this is also a high liquidity zone. Okay. And then this one took out, obviously, this one to the left. This larger supply to the left. Right? So you have this big base here, this big swing high was taken out right by this candle right here that started here, right? This is the move up that took out that high, making this also a high liquidity zone, right? Good. Now, next step. Price, this is a high liquidity zone. If price comes back here, let's just save this. Is there a high liquidity candle in here that can hold price and push it back down? On the 1 hour, this is the only candle. Let's go down to the 30-minute. We have this that covers the entire base. There is no top wick here. Let's go to the 15-minute. Yeah, see this candle right here. It's a 37 pip candle. It's a 32 pip candle. 36, 37. Okay, so it's this one on the 15-minute. It's pretty obvious. 574209. Okay, and here, if price drops here, is there a high liquidity candle in here? Again, I'm looking for the largest candle, largest bullish candle. On the 1 hour, doesn't seem to have 55 pips. This is a big candle. Let's go down to the 30. That's outside the zone. That's 84 pips. This is 99 pips. Let's go to the 15-minute. It's an 81 pip candle. 70 pip candle. Yeah, that one right there. This candle right here. Perfect candle. 80 pip candle. 785, 980. Okay, that's the candle. You can see how price broke above, came back in, grabbed liquidity, ranged at the top of it, then broke through. If you go to the 5-minute very quickly, yeah, it's still the same candle. It's perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Now, if price drops further, this is yesterday's liquidity grab from the EMA before pushing up. So is there a candle in here? We're going to mark that wick. I've always said when you see a big wick, especially during high volume time, you've got to pay attention to that because that's a liquidity grab. And that's exactly what this is. This is a liquidity grab from the EMA, right? Price grab liquidity from this EMA. That's over 70 pip wick. Yeah, it's there on the 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let's go down to the 15-minute. Got this candle, which is 60 pips, 66 pips. Sorry, 67. Also 67. Gonna have to do the numbers on this one. 4081. Yeah, it's this one. So pip more. 4081, 415. Perfect. Okay, should be good, but let's take a look at this as well. There's nothing here. There's no liquidity here. Price, yeah. So 1 hour demand. Let's take a look at that in 30-minute time frame. Yeah, 71. This was the candle that we had marked yesterday, right? 71 pips. Yeah, this one, and prices come into it. We've not crossed the 50% mark, but we've come into this candle. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. $56.49. Yeah, 96. Yeah, this is the candle. We haven't touched it though. 15-minute. 272712. 272712. Okay, done. Just a second. Yeah, that's it. These are the zones, right? These are the zones for the NY session. Now, we got to keep in mind that these wicks are from the EMAs. So you got to be mindful of it because even though we don't have a zone here, we have what we have right now on price is a very strong bull trend, a bullish trend, right? An uptrend. And this is a grab of liquidity from here. Now, there is no bottom wick here, so price can easily break this and drop further. Okay, got to keep that in mind. Anyway, these are the zones. You want to take a look at that, take a screenshot. You can do that. Um, we still have about 29 minutes to news, so we have plenty of time. I'll be back in 2-3 minutes, and then we're going to take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London session. Hopefully, that will help us have a better understanding of what price could possibly do in the first 2 hours of the NY Open. All right, be back in 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, let's go to the 50-minute time frame. Let's go to the 50-minute time frame. Let's market open right here. Okay, so basically, the market opened around 3056, right? That's the market open, 3056 above 3050. That's where we open here. Push down. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so the market opened here, right here, and in the Asian session we pushed up 235 pips. That is the the volume coming in from the latter half of the NY session, right? That's a continuation of that volume. And in the London session was a pullback of 200 pips, right? So 235 pips up in the Asian session and 230 pips down and 200 pips down in the London session. So let's examine this closely. Now, yesterday, second half of the NY session. I hope you can hear me. Yeah. So second half of the NY session, price pushed up, right? This is the second half. Getting towards the second half, okay? We had, yeah, this is the move up, okay? When price pushed up, it created this liquidity candle just above 3050, right? Just at 3050, we created a liquidity candle and price went up. Then the Asian session, the market opened here inside that liquidity candle. So we grabbed liquidity from the liquidity candle, right? And we had a lot of volume coming in from the from the second half of the NY session. That's the reason we created the liquidity candle, and price opened inside the liquidity candle. So we pushed up 235 pips, right? Created the Asian high, ranged a bit, closed above the Asian high, continued another 80 pips, 85 pips, created the London high, formed resistance. This was the London session, formed resistance, and dropped to the Asian high, tested it, pulled back, closed below it, continued down to the EMA. Grabbed liquidity from the EMA, pushed back up to the Asian high, right? And that's where price is currently at. Now, we've formed 30-minute resistance, right? That's 30-minute resistance right there. And it's a tradable candle. And we've closed below. Created this Interesting. 1 second. We have a wick here. We have a 1 hour candle here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to include this 1 hour candle into the base, right? This would be the leg out. This would be the leg out. That's a 128 pip drop. I would consider that the leg out, and this would be the base. So I'm going to bring this here, right? So the close of this is 939. I'll explain why I did that. Because price is reacting to this candle, and this is the liquidity candle, not this one. This is the liquidity candle, right? We've tapped it already. This is the liquidity candle. That's a far bigger candle, 49 pips, and that's the move out, the 15-minute. If you look at the 5-minute, I think we should have, yeah, that's a big candle. That's the largest candle right there, right? That's the largest candle there, and that's what we are reacting to. Yeah, I'm going to keep it on the 15-minute though. So let's put the numbers on that high. 261,765. 261,765. Okay, that's better. Still got about 15 minutes, 16 minutes for the for the news. Okay, so all I did is I just readjusted it based on the leg out, right? Because this would be the move out, right? This is the strong push down. You can see that's a 150 pip candle, strong push down. So if you work backwards, then that would be the base and that would be the leg in. So if you go down to the 30-minute, kind of makes sense, right? That these three candles are part of the base and this is the move out. See, this is the strong move. I always say whenever it's unclear, look for that leg out. This is the leg out. You can see how a 150 pip candle push down, a 30-minute candle, a single 30-minute candle, 150 pip push down, right? So this is, so if that is the base, then on the 15-minute time frame, the largest liquidity, the largest bearish candle is this, and that's exactly where price is reacting to. So now we have, this is the Asian high, yeah. So we formed 30-minute resistance at the liquidity candle, close below the Asian high, right? I would be willing to take sells around news. Let's see where the 15-minute candle closes, because this formed, yeah, pre-NY, pre-NY, pre-NY. Yeah, I'd be willing to take sells, very similar to yesterday. I'll be willing to take sells with a stop loss above this candle right here. That's a safer stop loss. Above 3082.6, right? Stop loss above there. Right? This is in pre-NY, pre-NY break. 30-minute resistance form. Perfect. 987726. 7. Yeah. We're going to wait for news. We're going to wait for news, but I'll be willing to take sells here to push down to this, back down here. If we come up here, if we come back to the Asian high, if we tap the Asian high, which is this one right here, 515, as high as 745. Yeah. If we tap 3077.45 here, I'd be willing to take sells. Stop loss above there. It's about a 50 pip stop loss. Anticipating a move down here, about 110 pip move down to the London low. And then if we close here, if we close below, possibly even pushing down to the next EMA, which is here, 3061. Yeah, about 160 pip move down. 110 and then another 50. The reason for the sells I've explained already, because we have a liquidity candle, we have a supply zone, a 1 hour supply zone. That's a 1 hour supply zone. It is a high liquidity zone because it's taken out this demand to the left. There is a liquidity candle there, and pre-NY session, we've come up there, tapped it, uh, created 30-minute resistance. We've tapped it, created 30-minute resistance, closed below the Asian high, right? So I'm anticipating a pullback and then price to come down here. This candle has no bottom wick. So come down there and then possibly towards the EMA, the second EMA, right? That's the move. We're going to wait for news though. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to wait for news. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to wait for price is already pushing down though. We're already coming down, but yeah, I'm waiting for news. This candle has no top wick. I'm waiting for news. What numbers are they expecting? They're expecting the same. Yeah, you might get the same numbers. They're expecting. This is not an important news event anyway, but we're just waiting for news because news is in 8 minutes. You don't want to open a trade right now. And price has already moved away, right? I don't chase price. I explained this very clearly yesterday. I don't chase price. I wait at a level that if I miss out a trade, I'm absolutely fine with it. I've got no issues if I miss out a trade. But I wait for price to get to where I wanted to, where I visualize that it would come to, right? If it doesn't come there, if I'm wrong, fine, no problem. If it moves down, so be it. But I'll wait here because I'm not going to have a wide stop loss on a counter trend trade. Remember exactly what I said yesterday. That's very similar to what we did yesterday. Price was trending up. We took sells here. I wanted to have a small stop loss, 20, 30 pip stop loss. That's what we had, 20, 30 pip stop loss, and price pushed down, right? So I want, very similarly, I want price to push up. If at all, then take an entry. Here would be better. Around 3078.5 would be better to come down here. Stop loss there, about 40 pips. Let's see what happens when this candle closes. It's got about almost 7 minutes for the candle to close. Let's see if you're gonna close here or push back up. I think it's going to take time. I don't think this news event is going to do anything. Created this in the London session. We have tapped it in the NY. Yeah, we have to drop down. We have to drop down. We have to drop down. We're coming at least here. This is the minimum. 3071 is the minimum. That's where the EMA, the first EMA is. So you want to get in here, 60 pips, and then down here, 3067. Those are possible TP levels. 3071, 3067, 3061, 3058, right? For cells to come down. If we have cells to come down. We form 30-minute resistance. That's a tradable 30-minute candle. Yeah, price needs to come up. I'm waiting for price to come up. If we come up here, that would be great. Even here. I'd be willing to open an entry here. I've opened an entry here at 45, like I said, at the Asian high, 77.45, right? 77.45. I've opened an entry. I'll open another one possibly here around 78.60. Right? And then one here. So my entries are, as I said, the first entry is around 3077.45. That's the Asian high. The one above is around 3078.6. And the one above that is around 3079.25, right? But that's where the stop loss is. Okay, so the first one, the stop loss is about 50 pips, then it gets narrower, 40, and then probably for 30, 34, right? 34, yeah. But obviously, I'm going to manage risk. If you go in here, if you get deep in here, I'm going to manage risk. I'm not, hopefully, not going to let price hit my full stop loss. Hopefully, right? That's the plan. I'm going to manage risk. 2 minutes, almost 3 minutes for the candle to close. anticipating price to come to around 3070 first, right? Around there, 3070, then 3067, and then 3061 or 3060, and then 3058 or 3057 if we get all the way down. Keep in mind what the main two ideas, the first 10 minutes of the stream, what we discussed, right? About how the weekly candle, how we predict the two possible ways that the weekly candle can close. A large top wick or a small top wick. And I said for a large top wick, then price needs to push down. The daily needs to continue down. For a smaller top wick, we first have to push down and then later on we push back up. Okay? Remember those two scenarios. A minute more for news. Okay, this is news. Are we coming back up? Are we going to tap this? Or are we going to drop straight through? We're coming down. The numbers are good, positive. Should be good for the US dollar, but let's see if we can come up here, tap this and push down, or are we coming straight down? 30-minute closed, nothing candle. Yeah, I think price is going to come back up. Price is going to push up. Just have to be patient and wait. See how much of volume we are having right now. That's a 40 pip candle. That's no volume yet. 30 pips. There's no volume. There's no volume yet. Gotta wait. Once you start seeing candles, I keep saying this every time, once you start seeing candles for a session open, especially for the NY Open or the NYSE Open, once you start seeing candles that are 45 pips or more than 45 pips, plus 45 pips, that's when you need to start paying attention. Possible volume could be coming with the next candle and the one after that, right? Okay, so we have first entry, price tapped here. Let's see if we come deeper. Pushing up. Okay, so I always say this. Once you get into a trade, the first thing that you got to think of is how do I manage risk now on this trade? Am I going to let price come and hit my full stop loss? Or am I going to find a way to manage risk, right? So if a 15-minute candle closes above here, right? I'm going to manage risk. So basically, if a 15-minute candle closes above 78.6, 3078.6, we've got another 10 minutes for this candle to close. If we close above this 3078.6, we're going to manage risk. So I'm going to put a line there, 3078.6, right? 15-minute candle needs to close above. Now remember, the price can go up. That's fine because that's a liquidity candle, right? It can come deeper into it. Obviously, if it before the close, if price comes straight up, then I lose my full risk on it, right? There is no way to control that. We've broken the high. If we have price can come inside this, right? Because that's a liquidity candle. But if we come here, this first, if it comes here, then that's it. Then I lose my full risk. There's nothing I can do. But all I know is there's volume coming in. So it's a 67 pip candle already. Yeah, there's a 67 pip candle. That's a good sign. But if price pushes straight through and comes to this high, then I get stopped out. I lose my full risk, and there's nothing I can do about that. Because that means then this candle would be a 85, 90 pip candle, a 15-minute candle. But if it doesn't, and if it closes, if it pulls back and closes above 3078.6, then I'm going to close my positions. Got another 8 minutes for the candle to close. We're coming here. This high is 314. There's no top wick. Let's see. Get there. I'm waiting for the 15-minute candle to close. Waiting for the 15-minute candle to close before we do anything. 5 minute candle, another minute and a half for the 5 minute candle to close. Let's see if we come all the way. Are we coming all the way up here? It's high 127. Yeah, I'll close one of my positions if you break this 30-minute candle high. The 30-minute candle high is also the 1 hour candle high, so that makes sense. If you break this 3081.27, I'll close one position. 3081.27. If you break that high, I'll close one position. You always got to find a way to manage risk. So keep your losses small. I'm not going to close all of them. I'm going to close one position. I have 3 positions in play, open. If you break 3081.27, I'll close one of them. Because that's the 30-minute candle high and the 1 hour candle high, right? That candle right there. It's also 30-minute candle high. Yeah. We're coming deep into this big. About 4.5 minutes for the candle to close. Again, if the 15-minute candle closes above 3078, I'm going to manage risk. I'll probably close a couple of my positions as well, right? Still, the conditions haven't been met. It hasn't broken 3081.27, and neither has it closed above 3078.6. This open is 6.4. Yeah, still waiting. It's got another 4 minutes, 3.5 minutes for the candle to close. We've got to wait. So I'm very clear on my risk management. Whichever happens first. If you break this high, I close a position. If we close above 3078.64, I close a position, right? Remember, it's a Friday. Don't try to force trades. Don't overtrade. If you haven't uh, been profitable this week, today is not the day to um, try to make up for those losses. Today is not the day. We're coming back up. I'm going to have to manage risk on this. Got a minute and a half for the candle to close. If we close above, then I'm going to close maybe two positions, or probably even all my positions. Because once we close above, then it's very likely that the next one is going to break the high and continue higher. So maybe I'll close two of my three positions and keep one. Yeah, we're pushing up, pushing up. We've got about a minute for the candle to close. Yeah, let's see. I think we're going to close, very likely going to close above here, above 3078.64. Very likely, unless there is a big push down in this last few seconds, last 30 seconds. Yeah, so let's look at the 1 minute. I'm going to stay on the 1 minute. So the 1 minute is just about as low. If the 1 minute closes here, then I'm going to close a couple of my positions, right? Yeah, so then I'll lose like 25 pips on it instead of 50. I cut my risk by half. Yeah, closed one, maybe close another one. Yeah, I closed two positions, right? Because we closed above here. We closed above this, so I closed two positions. I'm going to get rid of this. I've got one position left. So on those positions, I lost about 20 pips. 20 pips I lost. So yeah, about 20 pips each, right? Instead of losing 50 pips each, I lost 20 pips each, right? I got one position left. I'm going to keep that position. That's its final stop loss is about 30 pips. Yeah, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that one position open. All right. So if we break this candle high, the liquidity candle high, obviously I'm going to close the position, but I'm going to keep that one position open. Right. I'm going to keep that one position open. Now, price is moving against me, against my trade, right? Against the trade idea that I had. I had sell ideas based off everything that I just said, but now candles are closing against me. So you got to realize, soon as that happens, you got to cut your positions. You cannot hold and hope. Don't do that. You got to reduce risk. Right? You got to reduce risk. Uh, for my trade idea to play out, now candles are closing against me. So for my trade idea to play out, candles have to start closing in my direction. And what that would look like is, if a 15-minute candle closes back below the Asian high, then that's a candle closing in my direction. Maybe then I could put risk back on. Maybe, right? Maybe I could put risk back on if that happens. But I have to wait. Right now, there is nothing to do. We got to wait. There is about 12 and a half minutes for the 15-minute candle to close. We have to wait. There is nothing to do. And that'll also be the close of the 30-minute candle. So if I'm visualizing, if I'm anticipating, if I for the trade, for my cells to work, or for um, the cell idea or the cell setup to play out the way I had in mind, then candles have to start closing in my direction, right? As I said, so the 15-minute candle has to close back below, because we've closed above the Asian high. It has to close back below the Asian high. If this current 15-minute candle closes back below the Asian high, that means the 30-minute candle is closing below, right? That's even better. The 30-minute candle is closing below, right? So We have to wait. There is nothing to do right now except just wait. That is why I kept one position still open, because I still have to give my trade idea a chance, because we haven't this the liquidity candle hasn't been broken yet, right? So we took three positions, I closed two, so I've reduced my risk significantly, right? If this price goes up and hits my final stop loss, which is above 3082.6, fine. I lose a lot less than half of what I had initially planned to lose, right? But if it closes in my direction, then maybe I can add, put back that risk on, the risk that I closed, I can put that back on when there is a retracement. When price retraces back into the liquidity candle, I can add that risk back on and then anticipate price to continue down. But for me to do that, I need to see, I need to start to see confirmation. I need to start seeing candles close in my direction. And right now it's close. I have candles closing against me. I hope that made sense. Any questions on anything that we've discussed so far, that I've shared so far? If you have any questions, just drop a message in the chat. Got about 8.5 minutes, more than about 8.5 minutes for the candle to close. Yeah, we're pushing up, but we're gonna wait. 6 minutes more for the candle to close. Slow down. But we have a volume candle here, 70 pips. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, we're coming up. I'm going to close this trade. We're coming up to my final stop loss, which is 82.61. Once we tap that, I'm closing the trade, right? It's got about 5 minutes more for the candle to close. Let's see where this candle is going to close. The 15-minute candle is pushing down again. Three and a half minutes more. Again, remember everything that I said. Candles are still not closing in my direction. They're closing against me. Closing in my direction means like this, below the Asian low, right? Because that's where we closed below. That's the reason we took the trade. It closed against us above the Asian low. We want to see a 15-minute candle, at least a 15-minute candle, if not a 30-minute candle, close back below the Asian high. Sorry, not Asian low, Asian high. Because the reason we took the trade is for a few reasons. We had a high liquidity candle there that was created during the London session. We have 30 price come in, create 30-minute resistance, a tradable 30-minute candle closed below the Asian low. So we took the sells to come down here, right? At least to 3067, if not further down to 3061, right? But for that to happen, price needs to close in our direction. We need to see bear candles close. We don't have that. We have a bull candle close. We need to see a bear candle we need to see bear candles starting to meet the same conditions for as before, for the reason we took the trade, right? So we need to see bear candles start to close below the Asian high. That tells us our sells are still in play. Right now, it shows us that our sells are not in play. Price is closing against us. Price is above the area, starting to close above the area where we took sells, right? Or the reason why we took sells. I've got about a minute for the candle to close. Let's see if we push down and close below. Coming down. Okay, I'm going to go down to the 1 minute time frame now because we just have a minute left. So if this 1 minute candle closes below this white line, which is the Asian high, that means the 15 minute and the 30 minute has closed below it. And at that point, I may take another entry on the pullback. I might take another entry if it closes below. If it doesn't, then nothing. It needs to close below. Closing above or closing at it? We closed at it. Okay, I took another entry because we closed right at it. Okay, so I took another entry there. Now we have a candle closing in our direction, right at, right? It didn't close below, but it closed at it. So again, anticipating price to come down to 3071, right? 3071, and then 3067, 192716, 2. Okay, so I'm going to have 3071, 3071 here as this TP. So I opened another position up here on the pullback because the 15-minute candle closed back at the Asian high inside outside the liquidity candle. We closed below outside the liquidity candle, and right at the sorry about that. Okay. Now here, now we're going to relook at our risk management for these two orders that we have, right? Again, I'm not going to let them hit my full stop loss if price comes back on. And this will be the end. I will not take any more. I will not be taking any more trades. This will be the end. This is the second try that I'm giving my sells, and that's it. That will be the end of it. I'm not going to take any more sells, right? If they don't work out. Because it's a Friday, I'm not going to over trade or over risk today. Now, there is a 15-minute high here, a 30-minute high as well, and we also have the 1 hour high. Yeah, so that makes sense. So if we break this high, so my final stop loss now is not there, not 3882.6, but above this high, right? So 81.92, 81.92. So my stop loss is in fact is reduced, right? It's reduced by a good 7 pips, right? Now also, so let's get rid of this. Let's bring this down here. Let's take this up here. Okay. If a 15-minute candle closes above this 80.29, right? Above 80.29, then I'm going to close probably both my positions, and that's it, right? Yeah. So my final stop loss is now above 30.82. You can say 30.82. That's a stop loss. How I'm going to manage risk on these two positions is if a 15-minute candle closes above 30.80.29, then I'm going to close probably both positions. That's about 20 pips, 22 pips. 20 pips on this and about 9 pips on this, which is fine. Right? And the reason for that is because if a 15-minute bull candle closes above this, right, it couldn't close. So if you look left, right, if you close above here, it's very likely going to push further up deep into this zone, right? So why hold? Then you know that your stop loss is going to get hit, right? Why hold another 15, 16 pips in drawdown? Close the position. If the 15-minute candle closes below the Asian high, then it's likely that now price is closing, candles are closing in my direction, right? So then I'm going to hold the trade. I'm not going to close them, obviously. I'm going to hold the trade and leave the risk management idea exactly the way it is and the stop loss exactly where it is. Got about 8 minutes for the candle to close. We're also approaching the NYSE open. Yeah. Already approaching. Yeah. So if we close 7 minutes, if we close above this, then that's it. I'm going to close and I call it a day, call it a week, and no more trades. Yeah, we're coming higher. It's no topic. We're coming higher. Coming up here. I think I want to probably close one position. Let's see. Got to have a clean 15-minute candle close below. This one closed at it, not below it. We need to have a 15-minute candle close below. Just like you had this one, you have another one close below it. Then we're coming down. We're pushing down now. It's a good sign, but the 15-minute candle has to close. If it comes down, pushes back up and closes above, then the trade's not going to play out. It has to close below the Asian um, high. Has to close below the Asian high. Yeah, we're coming to our first TP area, which is 3071. That's about 70 pips. Yeah, 71 pips. Let's see if we can get there. And then the next TP level, I'm going to probably push this down here. Yeah, bring it down there. 67. Yeah, we're coming there. You can take partial positions. If you tap here, take about 25% off. If you're in the trade at 3071, take about 25% off the trade, 25, 30% off. But I'm holding here. Um, let's see if price comes here, struggles here, and then I might close both positions. Let's see. Let price come and touch it first. I'm gonna wait for the 15-minute candle to close, which is about 3 minutes from now. So you got to give this candle a little space to breathe. Let's see if we can get here. I think we should get here, 3071. That's where the first EMA is. Should tap that. Pushing back up. Again, as I said, I want to see uh, 15-minute strong bearish 15-minute candle close below the Asian high, right? That's what I want to see to hold on to these cells. We've got about 30 seconds more for the candle to close. We're going to wait. If it's a doji, if price pushes all the way back up now and closes a doji, then we're likely going to range or we're going to continue up again, right? It needs to close a strong bearish candle close. We want to see candles close in our direction for our trade idea to play out, right? If your trade idea is sells, you want to see candles close in your direction. You don't want to see candles close against you or weak candles close against you. You want to see strong move. Okay, so we've closed a tradable 15-minute candle in our direction. So I'm going to hold for 3067. Right? You can take 25% off here when we touch 3071 because that's where the first EMA is. Um, that's absolutely fine to take something off at 3071. If you entered up here, it's good to take something off here because and the reason for that I explained, because that's where the first EMA is, right? Remember this. Um, these are liquidity levels, so the EMAs are liquidity areas, right? So that is why the first TP level is there. I'm going to be here for another 10 minutes more. Um, I'm not going to give out any trade ideas today. It's a Friday. I don't want anybody over trading and over risking. It's the end of the week. I shared the two ideas. In fact, the main two ideas, the two scenarios that I shared at the beginning of the session, based off the predicting the weekly candle close, are the trade ideas. Those are the two, right? So that's what you got to have in mind. That's what you're going to be looking for. Is it going to be a large weekly wick, top wick, or is it going to be a smaller weekly top wick? Those are the two ideas. So if you want to go back and listen to the first 10 minutes, then you can do that because those are the trade ideas. Those are, and based off that, how is the daily candle going to move? How is it going to close, and what's the move for the session, so that the daily candle closes, uh, so that the weekly candle closes in a certain way, the way we predicted it would close. So at the end of in another 10 minutes, I'm going to end the streams. Yeah, I'll be here for another 10 minutes. Possibly till the 15-minute candle closes. We've got another 12 minutes for the candle to close. I'll be here until then. Coming towards 3071. Should tap it now. Yep. Here we go. Once you break the low, previous 15-minute low, we're going to tap 3071. And then you got to wait for the 5-minute reaction. Watch for the 5-minute reaction after it breaks the low. So the 5-minute reaction will tell you if it is going to grab liquidity and push up, or if it's going to continue down, right? So you want to take 25% off your position. Now's the time to do that. We've tapped 3071, right? That was the first partial TP level. 3071 tapped the EMA. So if you did take those sells, congrats. You should close about 25% of your position here. And now we're going to watch the 5-minute candle close. This is very important, right? We're going to see this one and the next one. If we tap and reject, then we're pushing back up. Yeah, this is a push up on the 1 minute. Yeah, we're pushing up. This is a rejection of the EMA, trying to push back up. Yeah, we close bullish, then that's a rejection. We've tapped the EMA and we're trying to push up now. Look at that perfect tap of the EMA. Price is pushed up. No top wick. Okay, I think I'm going to close my positions and then probably call it a day. Yeah, we're pushing back. This is a rejection. We tapped it, pushed up 40 pips. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the streams now as well. But here's how I'm going to manage risk now. I'm changing now since price has come and tapped the first TP. Now pay attention to this. Since price has come and tapped the first TP level, I'm going to manage risk even more aggressively, right? If a 15-minute candle closes back at the Asian, if a 15-minute bull candle closes back at the Asian high, closes here at the Asian high or just above it, I'm closing everything, right? That's it. So I'm not going to wait here any longer, right? Those are all negated now. If a 15-minute candle closes back at the Asian high, right? So if you close here, then I'm closing this position. So basically the positions close at break even. So here's where I'm holding for. If we get there, is the Asian low, 3067. if you get there. And if you get there, then the next TP area is 3061. That's the next EMA. But it needs to get to this first, the Asian low. The idea is prices closed below the 30-minute time frame. Yeah, the 30-minute candle needs to close clearly below. A tradable 30-minute candle needs to close below, creating resistance below the Asian low, just like this one did. A tradable 30-minute candle needs to close. You've got 5 minutes. You don't want to see a doji. If you have a doji, then very likely we're pushing back up. A tradable 30-minute candle needs to close, forming resistance and close below the Asian high for price to continue down to 3067. If it's a doji, then that means we're pushing back up. So we've grabbed liquidity from the EMA and we're pushing up now again. So I'm going to wait for another 4.5 minutes and then we'll make a call. Also, I'm going to end the stream, I think now. It's been here for a while, almost 2 hours. Um, yeah. Yeah. So I've explained exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the stream now. So if the 15-minute candle closes back here, I'm going to close my trade. That which means the 30-minute candle is closing a doji, right? And it's very likely closing a bullish doji. So it's no point holding the trade, right? So I've changed the risk management. I've made it a little more aggressive because price has come down now, right? It's come down. It's tapped the first TP level, 3071. One we had marked, it tapped it, tapped the EMA, and if you reject, that means we're pushing back up all the way up again, right? And you don't want to hold the trade then. So we come back up, we close here. The 15-minute candle closes back at the Asian high. I close everything. Okay, that'll be the end of the stream. So pay attention. So there are no trade ideas. I'm not giving out any trade ideas because the trade ideas were given right at the beginning. Those are the trade ideas, right? Predicting how the weekly candle is going to close. We're going to come back on Monday and see how reliable they were, the ideas that I shared. See which of them worked out. Is it a big weekly wick or is it going to be a small weekly wick? We're going to come back on Monday and have a look at that. Next week is NFP week. We can anticipate a fair bit of volume next week. So I'll be back 7:30 a.m. EST on Monday. Take care. Have a great weekend. All right. Don't overtrade. Don't over risk. If you have had a profitable week, then end the week on a high. Don't try to over risk. If you have had a break even week, or if you've taken negative, if you have had negative gains this week, today is not the day to make up for that. Keep that in mind. Today is not the day to make up for that. Okay. It's the last week of the month. We said that this is going to be a low volume week, and it kind of has, right? All right. See you guys 7:30 a.m. EST. Take care. Have a great weekend.